Welcome to another edition of Lakeville City Council Wrap-Up. During this program, we will highlight the agenda items presented to the Lakeville City Council at their June 16th, 2014 meeting. First highlighted item on the agenda is item number 5C, Parks and Recreation Department Monthly Report. And to give the background information on this agenda item is Parks and Recreation Director Brett Altergott.
This is the Park and Recreation Report for May. And we're going to start off, as usual, at the Arts Center. Performances in May included a coffee concert featuring Maria Jett, Invicioni, and Erdal Duel, Love Potion number 10, and the ever-popular Lakeville North Now and Again Singers Cabaret Show. Also at the Arts Center was the Taste of Lakeville. That was on Thursday night, May 15th. Although the weather could have cooperated a little bit better, it was a little bit chilly. According to our records, we had over 2,000 in attendance at the Arts Center that day. So it was a great job by the Lakeville Rotary Club. On the park maintenance side, the photos here, that's the Household Hazardous Waste Day. John got up on the roof and got some photos. It was an extremely busy day. Collected a lot of hazardous waste. There was 1,067 vehicles that dropped off items beyond hazardous waste. It also included appliances, auto batteries, electronics, and used oil. In the photos here, park maintenance, it was a busy month just getting our fields ready after the rains in April. What you see in the top left, we're getting the Aronson softball fields, getting the grade up on them, putting the infield mix back in there, the egg lime, and then we are striping during the month of May 83 to 85 fields per week for our use and use by the youth athletic associations. Playground inspections and repairs. It's one of the most important tasks that we do annually. Inspections take place on a regular basis, with the frequency being determined not only by the use but the age of the playground. What you see there are after the initial round of inspections, we're out making the repairs to the playgrounds to make sure they're safe for all the children to play on. In recreation, we had a busy month. Tiny Tots Turf Soccer is becoming extremely popular. We're taking our waiting list. We reserved 50 spots. We're regularly taking about 55, and that's been consistent now over the course of the last year. It's been a hugely successful program for us, as well as what you see, the bird banding that takes place at Ritter Farm Park. And then we also did a amazing race with the SOAR group, and you see that in the photo to the right. As well as we began our leagues, the sand volleyball leagues, which run Tuesdays and Thursdays out at Antlers, softball leagues, whether they're ours or some of the private leagues that run out at Aronson, plus all the soccer and baseball. It's been a busy month within the park system. And also staff wanted to highlight that we do archery classes out at the South 40 archery ranges on Thursday evenings. At the Heritage Center, we had Taylor Marie's fashion show and shopping event, and that was held on May 20th. We had 32 women modeled and shopped new spring fashions this year. Also in May, May 22nd, a seminar called Let's Talk About Memory Loss, Why Are We So Afraid? Was attended by 12 people. The event was sponsored by the Highview Hills. On May 29th, the Knights of Columbus held a free lasagna dinner. About 70 people attended that. As for membership, we had 24 new members in the month of May, bringing our total membership to 1,111. That's 699 are new and renewed for 2014 compared to 596 at this point in 2013. And upcoming events, Diana mentioned it, the Brew Battle is on July 12th. That'll be in the South Lawn at the Arts Center. We're going to keep the same setup as the beer brats and bingo, just transfer it 2 days later to another event. Tickets are available at City Hall, the Arts Center, all 3 Lakeville liquor stores, and online. The online tickets are available through the Parks and Recreation Wrap Connect. And if you order those, tickets will be held at will call when you get to the event at the Arts Center. In addition, we will be providing a shuttle with the location listed on the back It's just off of 210th Street. Trinity Church is a parking lot there. We'll shuttle you in. If you don't have your ticket, just bring your receipt from your online purchase, and that'll get you down to the event, so that way we don't cause a big traffic jam in the downtown prior to the parade. Also want to highlight that the Puppin Wagon started today through August 8th. We have 2 sponsors for the Puppet Wagon this year, the Lakeville Rotary Club and Cosmopolitan Orthodontics. Without their help, this would not be possible. To see a schedule of performances for the Puppet Wagon, go onto our website and then click on the brochure on the right-hand corner of the main page. And on page 8 is the locations, dates, and times of all the performances for the Puppet Wagon. And with that, I will take any questions.
Next highlighted item on the agenda is item number 5D, Police Department Monthly Report. And to provide the background information on this agenda item is Chief of Police Jeff Long.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. It's always difficult to follow Panaprog and the Puppet Wagon, but I will do my best. A recap of what I'm going to cover is storm solicitors and sirens. It sounds like a movie. Some personnel updates, road rage incidents, and information on motorcycles. One of the things with the severe weather we've had is we've had a lot of call on solicitors and what the rules are for solicitors. I thought this would be a good time to remind people of what they are. Solicitors do need to register with the police department. They must wear an ID, and if asked, they must give their name, organization, and present their registration. They may not go to doors that have a placard attached. It has to be at least 3 3/4 inches by 3 3/4 inches in 48-point size print, and it must read no peddlers, solicitors, or transient merchants or compatible statements. One of the complaints we have had is that sometimes the solicitors are refusing to leave or they're getting a little aggressive. We highly encourage people to call 911 if that's the case. Another thing that has been going on with the frequent severe weather is the sirens have been going off. In some counties, the sirens only go off if there is a tornado. In Dakota County, the sirens go off when we're in a severe thunderstorm warning zone. So people have been hearing them and wondering why they're going off. Some people have claimed they can't hear them in their homes, and it would be a good time to emphasize they're not intended to be heard indoors. They're only intended to be heard outdoors because of certain decibel levels that would hurt your ears if we had them going off loud enough to hear in your home. And we highly encourage people to have weather radios that are triggered that will remind them indoors if there is severe weather coming. Some personnel updates from the police department. In May, we promoted John Corman to deputy chief. John started with the Lakeville PD in 1996, promoted to sergeant in 2009, and most recently served as the interim chief. We promoted 4 new lieutenants, Bill Gurl, Jim Punchikar, Tim Knudsen, and Jason Polinsky. We've had 2 new officers start this month. Officer Andrew Shu, who came to us from Dakota County Communications Center, and Officer B.J. Lusbrock, who came from Lakefield, Minnesota, where he was a part-time officer. Captain Kevin Manius retired after 28 years of service. I think that was the end of the personnel moves. The training, Officer Michelle Roberts graduated from the leadership training program at the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. It takes a significant amount of personal time and commitment to get through that. We're very proud of her for completing that course. Officer Nick Jacobson, that's shown being sworn in February 18th, completed our 16-week field training program and is now out on his own. An interesting event that doesn't happen every day was a garbage fire. A garbage truck had a fire in the back. The driver alertly decided to dump his load in a church parking lot away from all vehicles. Saved the company a lot of money by his quick thinking, and it was a minimal amount of damage to the truck, just a lot of bad odor. DUIs is something that continue to be on the increase this summer. Officer Nick Stevens is shown being given an exemplary service letter from the department for arresting 3 drunk drivers in one night. And why we think that's so important is the bottom statistics that I've underlined is 40% of the 28,000 people that were arrested in 2012 had at least one prior DUI. The 2013 statistics aren't out and validated yet, so that's why I'm referring to 2012. However, the 2013 statistics will be very similar. We did have our first motorcycle accident of the season. I would encourage people to take extra care as we all get readjusted to motorcycles on the road. That means both drivers in vehicles and on motorcycles. The one accident we had is a driver exited a parking lot, tried to turn a little too sharply, lost control, and he dumped it in the roadway. He sustained non-life-threatening injuries. Now on to crime statistics. And to avoid you being bored, I just highlighted the ones that might get your attention. The CSCs, which I've pointed out in prior monthly reports, continue to be high. We're at a number of 20 for the year. Last year at this time we were at 11. Most of those are people that are familiar with one another. They're not random. Many of them have to do with incidents that have not necessarily occurred this year but are being reported this year. Property crimes, we continue to be concerned about the property damage we're seeing. The majority of these are people attempting to break into cars and there's nothing in there to steal. So it's reported as a damaged property versus a theft from automobile. Stuff that isn't reported necessarily in the crime statistics, our lobby walk-ins jumped considerably from last year. One of the primary reasons for that is with the storm damage, we had a significant number of solicitors coming in requesting solicitor permits. Total CAD incidents are up. We're up about 400 for the month, and that's a trend I think we'll see continue throughout the year. Traffic issues, we're taking more drunk drivers off the road, we're making more traffic stops, more speed citations, more DWIs, and yet we're still having more crashes. Statistically, it should be going the other way. It just continues to show you that we need to focus a little bit more on our driving and driving behavior. As you can see, in May of 2013, we made 654 traffic stops. In May of 2014, we made 967 traffic stops. 16 DUI arrests in 2013, 22 in 2014. Because of staffing issues, we have not reopened up our traffic unit, so I don't have a report on that. Just a recap of the events, we had 73 accidents. 8 of those accidents involved injuries. We had 9 assaults. That should read 0 suicides, 2 suicide attempts, and 7 suicide threats. One of the issues we're seeing nationwide, but also here in Lakeville, is significant mental health calls increasing. And that is reflected by those numbers. A talking point that you could help me take back out to the community is road rage. This was an incident that was covered by WCCO News that talked about a truck driver that was irritated about being cut off this driver and started punching him. We're seeing this more and more. We've had 2 incidents involving guns this year. We've had this incident with an assault. Strongly encourage people to stay patient, especially with the construction that was taking place on 35 and summer season construction in general. I did realize as I was proofing this as I sat down, I deleted one slide before I submitted it, and that was, of course, the human remains that were found in Ritter Farm Park that was searched by the BCA. We have had dogs also go out to search to make sure that we have recovered all remains and help provide closure for the family of the missing person. And finally, I thought this was appropriate, especially for Doug's neighborhood. I think they're getting ready for the rain to come, and I guess it's an arc on the roadway. And I'll stand for any questions.
Next highlighted item on the agenda is item number 9, Fox Meadows 3rd edition. And to give the background information regarding this agenda item is Planning Director Daryl Morey.
This is an exciting project because for the first time in many years, we're seeing some activity in the Fox Meadows townhome development that was approved in 2001. Mr. Spurbeck has submitted applications for a preliminary and final plat to replat 18 vacant townhome unit lots that you can see highlighted there. It's actually red, although it looks orange on the screen. Taking those 6 unit row pads that currently are vacant and turning them into, for a total of 18 units, turning them into 13 units. There'll be 1 5-unit row townhome in this location, and then the other 2 pad areas will have 2 2-unit townhome buildings apiece. So it'll be a reduction in the total number of townhome units in Fox Meadows of 5 units. Also, as part of this request, there is an application for a very small variance, a 1-foot building setback variance between buildings, the two-unit buildings here in Block 2. 25 feet between buildings is the ordinance requirement. The proposal is for 24 feet between these two buildings. It's going to be basically an imperceptible variance. You wouldn't be able to tell from the street view that there was a variance in this case. I do want to point out that the developer has taken great pains to make sure that the buildings in this replat for these two-unit buildings, that they meet the setback to the private drive, that they meet the setback to the adjacent wetland area. And the proposal, again, to replat this, reducing the density, providing townhome units that they feel will be more marketable and generate some sales in Fox Meadows, where I believe Mr. Dempsey in his report had indicated that we've had 1 3-unit building constructed out there since approximately 2005. So it's been pretty quiet, and we're excited to see that there'll be some activity out there and hopefully moving forward to completing that townhome project. The variance between the two buildings was reviewed by staff. Mr. Dempsey covers that in his report. As some of you who've served on the Planning Commission know, that there is certain criteria for reviewing variance requests. That actually has changed a couple of years ago from undue hardship to practical difficulties, and that criteria has been reviewed by staff, and staff has recommended that it meets those criteria, and the Planning Commission concurred when they held their public hearing on May 22nd for the preliminary plat and the variance, and they unanimously recommended approval of those actions. There was no public comment at the public hearing. In summary, staff is recommending approval of the Fox Meadows 3rd edition preliminary and final plat, as well as the variance and adoption of the findings of fact for the variance. And I can stand for questions.
Item number 9 was approved by the Lakeville City Council. Well, those were the highlighted items presented to the council at their June 16th, 2014 meeting. If you have any questions or comments regarding these agenda items, please feel free to call City Hall. The number is 952-985-4400. Thanks for watching this edition of Lakeville City Council Wrap-Up. There comes a time when brews must do battle. Hence, the Brew Battle was born. Join us on Saturday, July 12th from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Lakeville Area Arts Center. Watch as 30 breweries featuring over 100 brews do battle until a champion has been crowned. Shuttle buses will be provided. Check out details at www.lakevillemn.gov. Don't miss Lakeville's Brew Battle.